How would you like to wake up in the morning to have a bunch of orders ready for you from your online store? That's what I'm going to talk about today, is a way to automate revenue into your online store. We're going to do that through an abandoned cart flow. We're using the tool Klaviyo today. But first, let's go over a couple of key stats with abandoned cart flows and why they are super important to your online store. Abandoned cart flows deliver the highest revenue per recipient and the highest conversion rate, even more than your welcome series. And oftentimes your welcome series, you're giving a hefty discount with it. So what's really nice about abandoned cart flows is if they're set up correctly, you're not reliant on heavy discount codes to go into it. So according to Klaviyo, average abandoned cart flow RPR, which is revenue per recipient, is $3.65. That's 37.74% higher than the second highest RPR flow, which is the welcome series. So you're getting more revenue per recipient by having an abandoned cart flow set up. Top performing 10% abandoned cart flow RPR. So those are those huge, people that take the time, they set them up, they watch, they analyze, and they change. $28.89, and that's 36.4% higher than the second highest RPR flow, which is the welcome flow. So your top 10% even are doing a really good job. And I think it's one of those things that businesses often overlook. So in this video, we're going to talk specifically about abandoned cart flows, how to set one up, how to publish it, and then what you should do and what you should track in terms of specific KPIs with that. So before we get into that, be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to hit that bell if you want more videos like this where we break down actionable marketing and advertising tactics that you can integrate into your business today. My name is Chris Schneider and I run Handshake Digital. We're an e-commerce marketing and advertising agency specializing in helping e-commerce stores grow and scale through social media marketing, email marketing, and social media management. Now let's get into it. Okay, now that you are signed into Klaviyo, you're going to go ahead and head over to the flows section of the Klaviyo dashboard. So in here, we have some flows that are here. Some are not set up, some are not functioning. I was just kind of messing around with some stuff, but the abandoned cart email is the one that we're working on today. I'm going to go ahead and click into this so you can see what I'm working on. So we have just a 2 email sequence, nothing too crazy. What's really nice is that inside of Klaviyo, they lay these out for us. So I'm not worried about dragging on a trigger and dragging on time delay, dragging on an email, none of those things, right? So as I continue working through here, what I'll do is I'll take what's here and I'll leverage it. And so you have your trigger when someone has a checkout started. And then if I click this profile filter here, the metric is connect with a Shopify, checkout started. And then there's a profile filter. There is limit the flow to only certain profiles, placed 0 times since starting this flow, right? So they've started a checkout, but they did not complete the checkout. They did not place the order. And then they have not been inside of this flow in 7 days. So basically what that means is that we're not gonna overdo it with abandoned carts with them. Because, let's say I abandon a cart when I'm online shopping. I get an abandoned cart email, and then the next day I abandon the cart again, and it just kind of starts to get annoying because then I get into 2 different flows with people. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave these things here. So I like those. I don't like the wait 1 hour. I feel like the wait 1 hour is a little too slow because I feel like me as a consumer, at least, what I like to do is when I am shopping for something, I'm generally I'm at that point of ready to purchase, right? So if I'm adding to cart and all that stuff, I'm at the point where I'm ready to purchase. And I feel like an hour later, I could have already made the purchase. I could have found a competitor. I could have found a cheaper price. I could have found all those things. So what I'll do is I'll set this to 30 minutes. And then the biggest thing to understand is that your preference is not what ultimately you should be making the final decisions on. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and set this to 30 minutes, but then within a week or two after launching this flow, I'm going to go ahead and go back and I'm going to check to see if this email 1 has a high open rate or a low open rate. And if it's low, then I'm going to adjust this timing. That's going to be my first optimization here. So let's go ahead and change this time delay to 30 minutes and then hit save. All right, so now I have my time delay, and then I'm ready to go into email 1. So I wanted to give you guys a quick preview as to the email that we're designing here. Here's the email itself. This is what we're making. Basically, we have the standard header for the brand. Then we have a big header here that is kind of like your, hey, did you forget something? And then I'm going to load in dynamic products. So dynamically, whatever they left in their cart will show up here. And then I'll also have an ability to cross sell. So maybe they left a cart abandoned with this product, but maybe, we take products from the same category and we offer that up to them as well. So that's what we're designing here. And I'm going to go ahead and click into email 1. And I'm not going to worry about subject line, sender, none of that yet. This is not the focus for us currently. The focus for us currently is in editing the template itself. So we click edit, and here we are. This is the basic version of a Klaviyo abandoned cart email, right? But what's nice about Klaviyo is they're giving us this information where a lot of other builders out there aren't giving us much to start with. So one thing I will do, if you're not using universal templates yet inside of Klaviyo, I highly suggest that you do it. That way you're consistent, right? So the last thing you want to do is send an email and this header area looks different than the other headers that people have seen in the past. What's nice about this is that I've already kind of set it up to be how I want it for mobile as well. What's really nice for this particular client, they make fan apparel, right? So the seasonality of fan apparel is in play here. So football is primary, it's new. At the time of this recording, football is still very much so in the swing of things. Baseball is kind of at the tail end of their season, and then basketball hasn't quite tipped off yet. So what'll happen is once baseball ends, we'll move basketball into the second slot, and we'll change baseball to be something else. But the good thing about this is the fact that if I edit it one place, it'll change everywhere else. So I don't have to keep editing it over and over. So as you saw in here, we had this large header image here. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to take an image. I'm going to drag it into here. Then I'm going to open up Finder into my email assets that I already have cut up, ready to go, because we plan these things out, right, guys? So here's that, and then head over to this. We're going to see I got some styling things to do. My designer added a shop now and a finished purchase. We don't need that because it's kind of the same thing here. We need to check out, right? Like return to cart is our kind of our call to action here. So we're going to make a couple of changes here. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to take this button and we're going to try to get it down in here, but if not, then I think having it below is fine. So let's click into this. You can see here, as we click into this table, we have a couple of options. You have your left column, which is an image, right column, which is text. So we might not have the ability to drop a button in right below that, which is why sometimes you got to be a little bit flexible with your the things that you're doing on this. So the image, if you look, it's going to be, this is all code from Klaviyo itself. This is very much so like trying to pull in the specific item product title as alt text, link address. So we're good with this. Like, I don't really need to do much here. I'm going to take a look at some of these items just to make sure that I don't have, like, let's add a border. I don't want a border here though. I want 0. I want a border on the first column if I can. Column 1. It looks like I won't be able to do that in this, at least in this. I'm not overly focused at it yet. So content, let's go into 2. It looks like we have more of a bolder headline here. So let's make that bold. And then it looks like we're not worried about quantity, right? It looks like we're more interested in like cost. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to have our, okay, we'll do that there. And then we need to modify our button here because it looks like our button is not going to go into that. Let me see. Button, see if we can drag it in. Not going to let us. Button wants to take up some space here. So we need to modify this. I like the bright, like, you know, the red one, the full red one. I already have the brand colors loaded in here, so it's a quick and easy check. We don't want rounded corners. If you look at this, these are very square corners, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. The text color here is going to be white. Actually, that's not full white. That's full white. Cool. Sorry. And then let's see, return to cart. So it looks like everything is all caps. I'm going to keep it return to cart for now. If I feel like the click rate on this is low, then we can modify the actual call to action here. So one thing is that this block needs some padding. Looks like it could use quite a bit of padding too. So I'm going to go ahead and give it some room to breathe a bit. And then I think we can get rid of this here. And we're going to add in another image for this headline only because of the fact that we have this bold kind of text that we're using here, this type, and that's not exactly one that you can use here. So you might like, let's make sure that we're, let's make sure we're having some alt text in here. And I also want this to have a little breathing room. One thing I've always noticed about Klaviyo is they don't like padding. I like my stuff to breathe a little bit, right? So again, if we're doing this as like our base, then it looks like here we need to go through and we are going to add in. So we can do a couple of things. We can add in a product, right? And this can be a dynamic product, and we're going to have to create a product feed and adjust the display for it. Which is a good one. So let's do this. Let's go dynamic product, and let's go with create a product feed. And then actually, let's see, showcase products using a product feed. Yeah, I think we'll do this, but we'll automatically go with new releases here as our product feed because shop popular, all categories, products from all categories, best-selling products over the last 90 days. It's a great one to go with. So we're going to go here. We're going to select the product feed and then start with item number 1. We're going to have product name and we're going to link to the product. And then we're going to have price and we're going to have, looks like there's no button built into here. So let's go ahead and shut that off so that we can match the design. Product border, this one finally I think can be correct. Yep. Although her design is around the image itself, we only have control over this. There's only so much we can do, right, guys? Like, oops, I meant to just make that 2. Here, cool, great. I'll have to look up brand fonts really quick just to make sure I have the correct one. Block padding, probably do 10 a piece. Okay. And then what I like to do, so there's just kind of breathing room. So you can do one of two things with this. You can unlink these paddings and you can add like 50 if you want here, right? That's one way to do it. Or you can add in a spacer for it. So like I like to do this, and then you literally just set your height to be whatever you want it to be. So I'll go back in this and I'll kill this off. And the only reason I'm not going to run this in here is so that it doesn't stack funny on mobile, right? Because then you'll have this like kind of a strange gap at times. So we just want to make sure that we're okay. Okay. Let's add our alt text in here. And then what I'll do, so you can do one of two things. You can take your link address and you can add it in here. Or you can just send people back to, if you have Shopify, then it would be like yourwebsite.com/cart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just preview and test this. We need to see how this looks. So let's take a look here. When I click preview and test, this is giving me that preview with, some products in place. It looks like someone left a, thing here. Okay. You might like, feels like it's pretty accurate. Looks pretty good here. Okay. So I think we're in pretty good shape. Good looking email. So what I can do is I can send myself a test just to make sure. And then I'm going to go ahead and move on to email number 2. And once I get done with that, I will wrap up. We can talk about subject lines and stuff like that. One thing I am going to do is I am going to save this down as a template. I like to preface everything with HD. My agency is Handshake Digital. Abandoned cart email 1. Okay, so I'm saving that down as a template. That way I can make edits to the template and then update the template into the email itself. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to name this Abandoned Cart Email 1. And I gotta edit this on the brand end. It's a little bit messed up. It needs to all just be like that. Cool. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit done here. That doesn't mean I'm publishing it yet. You can see it's still manual. I'd have to click this drop down and click it to live. I'm not ready for that yet because I want to get this number 2 done. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this, finish this up, and then I'll start the recording once I finish up number 2. I hope this video was super helpful for you. Hopefully you can get an abandoned cart flow up and running, especially if you're going into Q4 and you're getting into a busier time of year for yourself. Abandoned cart flows are just great ways to automate some of your sales and some of your, recovering some of your lost sales or potentially lost sales through your online store. Shopify and Klaviyo work very well together. So if you're on Shopify, and you want to be able to leverage advanced techniques, so not just your basic abandoned carts, but advanced techniques, then I highly recommend signing up for Klaviyo and getting that up and moving. It's pretty cost effective for small businesses. They have a great tool. They have tons of solutions for you. A lot of out-of-box solutions as well. So highly recommend them. By all means, if you are going to sign up for Klaviyo, be sure to click the link down below in the description. I will link over a referral link from us. If you found this video helpful, I would love it if you'd click that link and get started with your email marketing journey on Klaviyo. Until next time, friends, we'll talk soon.